I am Bobby here. Let's queer up the worldview. ISIS-inspired plots targeting LGBTQ plus students foiled. 3 Singaporean teens arrested. According to Singapore's Internal Security Department, this year so far the authorities have arrested 3 teenagers in separate alleged ISIS-inspired terror plots, including plans to kill LGBTQ plus students in knife attacks. Among those detained was 19-year-old Tan Jun Jie, who authorities say have become self-radicalized online after converting to Islam in 2022. Investigators said Tan planned attacks against Singapore Air Force cadets and queer students at a former college, believing that they were kuffar, or non-believers. Officials said he chose knives as the most accessible weapon and studied knife fighting techniques online. Authorities said Tan also pledged allegiance to ISIS and viewed the planned attack as a path to martyrdom. According to the security department, quote, he had imagined while preparing food at home that his kitchen cleaver was a knife to slit his acquaintances' throats, mimicking executions in ISIS propaganda videos, end quote. Friends who recognized signs of his radicalization alerted authorities, leading to his arrest in April. Another arrested teenager was a 14-year-old boy who allegedly planned a knife attack targeting classmates, including LGBTQ plus students, after becoming radicalized through violent online content, extremist propaganda, and mass shooter material. Investigators said he intended to live stream the attack before taking his own life. Classmates and teachers reported warning signs, and authorities arrested him in May. A third teenager, aged 15, was arrested in March after allegedly pledging allegiance to ISIS online and planning an attack in Singapore modeled on the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. Officials said the 3 cases were unrelated but reflected growing concerns over online self-radicalization among youth. Now, for funsies, I looked up some facts about LGBTQ rights in Singapore. Now, Singapore is one of those cities where it's supposedly very glamorous. You know, Crazy Rich Asian took place there. You know, they have this enormous airport. Their airline's one of the best in the world. There's nothing wrong with that, but Singapore, despite wanting to be the shiniest pearl in Southeast Asia, did not decriminalize gay sex until 2023. Currently, same-sex marriage remains constitutionally blocked. They actually decriminalized gay sex and block and ban gay marriage at the same time, and LGBTQ media content is actually restricted to either higher age ratings or just simply disappear altogether. They have an annual Pride rally, but only Singaporeans can go. Foreign press were banned and censored so that they can pretend that LGBTQ people in Singapore doesn't exist. And there is obviously no anti-discrimination laws. And also, how do I know that Singapore singled out LGBTQ media content for censorship? Joe My God, which is run by Joe Jervis, one of the most oldest and most respected LGBTQ plus blogs around. I use VPN. The only time Joe My God is blocked is if my VPN connected to Singapore servers. Now, what I'm trying to say is, yes, thank you, Singaporean government, for arresting these 3 teenagers. I believe that they probably need more counseling and de-radicalization more than actual prison sentence, although with Singapore and the draconian laws, you never know. They apply the death penalty to quite a few things. But the thing is, de-radicalization should be the first priority here. And second, I'm afraid that they're going to use these examples, these arrests, to basically further crack down on online censorship. Now, that doesn't mean that I want people to be exposed to online radicalization content, but when you restrict LGBTQ expression in public, when the government endorsed the erasure and censorship of LGBTQ content, guess what? These kids are going to look at LGBTQ people as easy victims. I hear you, Bobby,
but there's also something to remember with online ISIL and the radical extremist groups out there. Because a friend of mine, back when I lived in D.C., he was a government contractor that literally studied what these guys were putting up online to recruit. They recruit teenagers specifically for the same reason militaries like teenagers. They're very easy to get emotionally driven to your cause. They're very malleable, and that's a tragic thing that you're seeing here. But also, like, they're very good at avoiding U.S. Any government censures, and they're getting around that and they will get their message out. I will say the most interesting fact of this entire report was the fact that the government was able to take all 3 of them alive. Something that I don't see the United States government doing enough when we have suspects of potential or have committed major violence. So that's one good thing I'll say. So they can be questioned and we can learn more about what happened.
Notice that they also did not publish the names of the teenagers. Americans would have.
No, we don't publish minors when they're...
Well, one is 19, so he's not a minor.
That's different.
And secondly, their radicalization, while, yes, we have pointed out in the story that LGBTQ was part of it, but I mean, you're talking a mass shooting, and he said classmates, including LGBT people. So I want to stress that, yes, I think, mental health, but you're correct. I mean, we see radicalization of minors and teenagers most frequently, both not only outside, but with our own government. I mean, we recruit people. We used to have the draft card, and these, these types of things. And most of the people are 15, 16, 17 years old when they start being recruited, because they are malleable and they are trying to figure out their way in the world. I think it's disturbing to see someone who's 14 years old being radicalized by hate and mass shooting. My question is how do you stumble upon it? Yes, we need to limit access to stuff like that for sure. Where were the parents? There's so many questions.
Look,
so many questions.
For a group to be as successful as ISIL over the last 15 years is because of very specific international affairs that multiple governments are doing. But to be very clear, the United States government has done a lot to help propel this. They didn't mean to, but our actions in the Middle East, what we do in Muslim countries around the world, is why you get all this violent rhetoric and so many people willing to consider what to join things like ISIL. Could they see one country can do whatever it wants to Muslims? Mm-hmm. And young Muslims is well, we should fight back or something. Right. It's a very easy to go with them. We could do smart things not start wars with Iran, not decide to go and destabilize other Middle East nations. But we continue to do this.
But the question is what 14-year-old do you know goes, one day I want to go find out about mass shootings and become one? There's always a cause and effect, right? Yeah. There's always a reason why this child went looking for this information.
Yeah,
it wasn't like somebody...
They might not have gone looking for it. These guys are very good at getting their stuff out onto certain forums. They know to target young people. I mean, look at the guy that shot up Pulse. He pledged to ISIL as well. He was... they see stuff online. They don't always go looking for it. The ISIL, they know what they're doing. They know how to recruit. The Nazis did it in the 30s, too.
But the thing is, well, first of all, the Pulse shooter was a grown-ass man. I think he was in his 30s, or at least late 20s.
He was still he still was exposed.
And also, I believe that his father was his entire family was from Afghanistan or Iraq. I don't remember, but it was so there are some entryway through, entryway. I don't know where the 14 or 15-year-old, but I'm guessing that they find gateways through probably. For example, if they were bullied, they probably will trying to look up information that will get back at other people.
You're proving my point. If he was bullied, if there was a cause for him to do it, you just don't wake up one day and go, I want to find out about mass shooting. There is a cause and effect.
But for me, the whole idea that these guys are specifically saying that they want to not just, they target other people too, but they specifically said that they want to target LGBTQs plus students. I believe the cause is that Singapore, the government, refused to acknowledge
They said classmates including. It wasn't specifically LGBTQ people. And in the report, it says classmates and. So I want to say that, it's bad regardless. I want to know why. Mm-hmm. I want to know why.
That's a very fair thing. The last thing I'll say on this is that my suspicion is that these kids either saw it on Telegram, or I would not even be surprised if it comes out that someone actually slid into their DMs and started this rhetoric with them. And that is an important thing to think about. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.